All right, welcome to the Dales Report, and happy to be joined back to the podcast, the CEO of DigiMax Global, Chris Carl, to the podcast. How are things?
Doing well, busy as always.
I'm sure. Lots to talk about. So let's get right into it. It's been, 17, 18 days since the Cayman Fund launched. I know there's been a lot of excitement with the investors trying to learn more, how it's performing, that sort of thing. So investment decisions will be largely based off your proprietary CryptoHawk predictive software, which is learning and self-reinforcing. So first off, I look online, a lot of people excited, love the app, love the direction it's going. We also have other people that are concerned with some of the performance lately. So I want to tackle the elephant in the room. The first question, and I know there's a lot of investors that are overly passionate about all this, but any concerns with its performance? And if so, how would you answer that right now?
Okay, well, there's a lot loaded in there, but I think with respect to your question, any concerns? No, but it depends on your timeline.
Okay.
Going back from probably the very first time you and I ever met and talked, we've talked about what CryptoHawk, Crypto Divine before it, the app before that, what it does and what it doesn't do. And what it does is it helps you be on the right side of the highly volatile moves in primarily, Bitcoin and Ethereum. And that's where you grab your profit. And frankly, it's also where you avoid your loss.
Okay.
Where we're not the biggest and where we've never promised that we'd be the biggest is when we get into narrow ranges of oscillation. I like to call it fibrillation, where it's moving, but it's not moving very much. And if you look, with the exception of right around the 31st of August to the 2nd of September, where there was a bit of a mini spike in Bitcoin.
Yep.
Since the middle of August, certainly the end of the third week of August, right through to today, we've largely traded in a band of $45,000 to $47,000. Okay, a couple times we've gone above it, a couple times we've gone below it. CryptoHawk is not designed as an AI package to help you make money and call the 47 top and call the 45 bottom and help you make money off those 2-3% swings.
Yeah.
And really it's noise. And so you mentioned something else in your opening about our fund. Our fund uses CryptoHawk as a predominant decision-making tool, but not as a 100% decision-making tool. And so we ourselves are aware of this band, as most of our traders who are subscribers to CryptoHawk is, but we can actually use the advanced system to set those bands for whatever we think is right. I'm using 45 to 47. You could use 47,100 or 46,900 to be in front of me or whatever you want to do. But if you go onto our advanced system, you can set your own personal thresholds of where you want to get notified if it exceeds that. And then you could ignore everything. Everything in between. And that's what I'm recommending to people who call me one-on-one that they do, because you're just going to lose sleep over these kind of little things. Now, back to where we are though. Since we introduced this back in February, and certainly since the new product CryptoHawk was introduced June 1, we really haven't had a month overall on 31 days where we've come out less than double-digit returns, certainly on the Bitcoin. We have more data on Bitcoin. Bitcoin's been around a couple more years, but very close results on Ethereum as well. But sometimes all those returns come in 2 days out of 30, because there are a lot of periods where it is kind of quiet. Now, June and July were fantastic for our program. We watched Bitcoin drop, and it's already getting out of my memory a little bit. That's why AI is so much better. It never forgets, but we humans do.
Yeah.
But anyway, it dropped, and if my numbers are wrong, I apologize, but I'm going to say that it dropped better part of 20%.
Yeah.
And actually, no, I think it was more like 15. But we actually made 20% in June on Bitcoin. And then it went back up, I think 20%, such that it was the net over the 60 days was Bitcoin was 5% up. We were up 45% using our trading tool. Okay. So when we have big moves, we do really, really well. And then when we oscillate along a little bit, well, we still make our double digits. We're close to it in that month. We're not losing money, but we don't make as big a gains as when it's highly volatile. So there's my message. Over the course of a year, if you think that we are going to see cryptocurrencies stop being volatile, I wouldn't really be a subscriber to our CryptoHawk product. If you think it's going to continue to be volatile, but maybe not all the time, CryptoHawk's the best thing you can have, because it's going to help you make sure you're on the right side of the trades. So there you go.
Okay.
Such a long answer, but that's where we're at. And we're not worried about it in any way whatsoever. We're as excited as we could always be, and we know we're going to generate huge returns.
In your take, how do you think the fund has, I guess, performed in the first 17, 18 days? It's still too early, or, I'm
Well,
sure
what
you
has crypto
probably,
done in the first 17, 18 days, other than the first and the second of the month where it spiked up and spiked down by about 10 percentage points?
yeah.
It's really been flatlining, as we said. So again, we're not expecting in that flatlining scenario to make big returns. September's not over yet. There's a lot of world events happening. My suspicion, I have no AI, no artificial intelligence to back up what I'm saying, is that we are still going to see volatility before the end of the month. And if even we have 2 or 3 days of that volatility, there's a very good chance that by the end of the month, we're back into these double-digit returns that we've been seeing.
Okay.
But am I worried? No, I'm happy. We do have, 7 figures under assets under management, just barely though. But we've got a ton of institutional interest.
I don't want to ask you that. How much interest are you getting from institutions? Like
I would say equal or more than we were actually hoping for, in the sense of people are out kicking tires. What does that mean? They're doing due diligence. They want to know. Listen, we are a fund that as of September 1 had exactly 0 days of trading experience. Okay. Yeah. We have our back data. We were trading ourselves on CryptoHawk and what have you. We can show everybody that. But and they like it. I mean, they like what they see. They like all the analytics that we have going all the way back to January 1, 2020. But they also are looking for some performance. So even funds that have the potential to put large amounts of dollars into our fund are going to put it in small amounts at a time. But there's a lot of them out there. And we are marketing globally. And we're talking to family offices, I would say in at least 5 continents right now.
Wow.
People are excited about what we do. And they come back to one thing. And really, this is why the fund, I think, is exciting. Yes, overall, cryptocurrencies are very volatile, and institutions hate volatility. They like positive returns. They like call alpha returns, but they don't want to get an alpha return at the end of the year of, say, 15% by being down 80% and then up 95%. What they want is a couple points a month. And now we're looking at, our goal is double digits a month, 10% a month, and it's a pretty lofty goal, and not one that a lot of long seasoned investors would say is even sustainable, but our AI has been proving that it is. But we don't want up 20% one month, down 15%, up 30, down 20. Our fund doesn't want that. Crypto does that, but our fund goes up 8%, 12%, 9%. As long as we're doing that, we are so appealing to the big institutions. It's crazy. And they just don't have other investment opportunities like that around to be investing in cryptocurrency. So we are getting a ton of really positive feedback right now.
Do you think, obviously the answer is yes, but, are a lot of institutions, as you said, they want to see positive gains. They want to see the slow growth, the positive returns year over year. Crypto is a highly volatile sector. So, I think a lot of the question for investors in this space is to find out how many institutions will get involved in this industry. Like, do you see that trend continuing to move towards institutions being in crypto?
Oh, absolutely, I do. And I think that, what I see and what actually happens, whether they're the same, it doesn't really matter. And I always come back to it because I could say that I'm an absolute believer that, Bitcoin's going to see $100,000 by December 31. And I could be dead wrong and it goes to $10,000. Doesn't matter. CryptoHawk's going to make a wild amount of money in either of those scenarios. Okay. So it really doesn't matter what I think. It's a matter of, as long as there is volatility, staying in a 3, 4, 5% range, that's harder for us to make really big returns on, but we're not going to have big losses either. So again, our volatility, the volatility that we return to our investors is still going to be tiny, but I don't really care. I do believe institutions are coming in. I believe that central banks have nightmares over cryptocurrencies, the independent cryptocurrencies, because they can't control them. And therefore it gets harder and harder to defend the value of their fiat currency sometimes. But I don't really care. We don't care. All we care about is that cryptos are, I think, here to stay as an asset class.
Yep.
People have exposure in their portfolios, but they are scared to death about the volatility, and we provide a solution for the volatility.
Yep. Yep, I hear you. It's volatile to say the least, and I'm sure you get a lot of inbound calls, and probably one of the more common things is like asking the question, how does it exactly work? Like, can you speak to how CryptoHawk acts during periods of volatility? And like, are the algorithms continuously learning while avoiding churn?
They are, but again, what is AI and what is our AI programmed to do? Well, we'll go back and if we went back and listened to all these interviews we've done, I know I've said this before, but I'll try to keep it really short. There's two main or basic elements to AI that is informational based. One is gathering the data. Okay. And on an hourly or sub-hourly basis, we're out there gathering reams and reams of data from around the world. Technical data, yes, but all kinds of sociology data and foreign currency data, what central banks are up to, and of course, what's happening on social media. Mm-hmm. And we're using that to predict what's coming next. Okay. Now, when what's coming next is a 0.5% change over the next 24 hours, our system's always predicting, but it's not really predicting how far it's always going to go. We have a second program within CryptoHawk now that does predict that, by the way, and we can touch on that real quick. But it predicts sort of what's going to happen next, but it doesn't really predict it in terms of where. So it's all about direction. And that's how it works. We take in all this data and we continually, at least hourly, predict what's happening next. Okay? And then if it's really big change, and the AI predicts a change, it will send that signal out to our subscribers. So that's how it works. It's that simple. And we're not going to change it. We have done a couple of changes and improvements to the AI that have reduced the number of calls that it makes. Try to get rid of these little ones that come out. But overall, we don't want to change it. An investor doesn't have to trade on every single one of them. They can set their own thresholds. There's all sorts of things in the advanced program you can do to be able to predict better. Now, and I alluded to this, and let me just take 15 seconds. We also brought out something that we call Trend Watch. Bitcoin and Ethereum are 2 of the 10 of the cryptocurrencies that we're watching. This is not quite as fast paced. This is more about where is it going over the next couple of weeks, not where is it going the next hour. And when you combine those two tools, again, you get really powerful trading opportunities where you don't care if something happens at 3 a.m. because you're not there to trade it 24/7. You're there to trade it more week to week. Yep. And there's some great money being made already by some of our subscribers just using that second tool called Trend Watch. Mm-hmm. There's a third one coming certainly before the end of the year, if not the next 30, 45 days, that we are likely to call Altcoin Radar. And that's where we're going to have at least another 10, 12 much smaller coins that are starting to make a lot of noise out there in the same sources of data that we already mine, so that we can share with our subscribers, listen, this is not something you want to put your life savings into, but if you're interested in trading the fast moving crypto, here's ones to watch. And we've got how that system's going to work is not just every rumor that comes by, we're going to share through our system, but we're listening to the rumors and then we're correlating it back to, is there a real company behind it? Is there a real business? Is this a company that's not fly by night where the thing rockets up day 1 and rockets back down day 2 and it's a game of hot potato? Frankly, most of these fast moving cryptos are a game of hot potato, but we're going to at least help people, without having to do all their day-to-day research. Because we can use AI to listen in on what's going on in the market, we're going to be able to do that. So there's so many things happening and coming with this advanced features system. More and more of our subscribers are migrating up to it and finding that for the $100 a month, they're getting tremendous rates of return on that.
Good. It's good. Well, I know the fund gets a lot of attention, but there was something announced, a collaboration agreement prior to the fund launching with the Bitget exchange, one of the fastest growing derivatives exchanges in the world, over 1.6 million registered users and an average daily trading volume exceeding US $5 billion. So it's envisioned that direct one button trading by Bitget users based on new CryptoHawk indicators could be developed. So maybe explain what that means and the importance of it all.
Absolutely. Well, that's the first big exchange that we have now a very public partnership with. We put our press release out. They've already put their press release out. Something even before that was announced. We announced, I know that we were doing some things in Korea. We're doing things in China as of just yesterday because the Chinese one was just launched. We now have full websites and we're about to have full CryptoHawk service available in the Korean language, in Korea, and in Chinese throughout the rest of Asia. And the websites now exist both for CryptoHawk and for Digimax, and the actual CryptoHawk app will be in those native languages within the next week or two. So that's really big, and that's a great supporter for what we're doing over there. Bitget was the first big exchange that we've signed with. We just had a big call with them this morning. The next stage will come, and all this was outlined, I believe, in the press release. The next stage now is to allow the users who can legally, use Bitget, which is most of the users around the world, can access Bitget directly through CryptoHawk, and vice versa. CryptoHawk is going to be accessible
That's
to every
big.
one of their 1.6 million users.
Yeah.
Still on a subscription basis, but it has the potential to get us to those lofty subscription numbers that we've set out for ourselves. And we're not there yet, but we're well on our way. And this is now a model for all of the exchanges that are out there, and certainly continent by continent, and we're working on all of those.
Interesting.
And I know people have been frustrated that this seems to have taken a long time, but as I've said on your interviews before, due diligence doesn't happen overnight. And these big companies didn't get to be big because they just roll the dice and take a chance every day. They do a ton of due diligence. They've done a ton of due diligence on our company. They came back happy, and they're not the only exchange out there that is coming back happy. And I think you're going to see that this is the way we're really going to grow our company, is these associations. And Bitget is awesome. They're fantastic people. They're so responsive. And you know, our relationship is just growing like crazy, and you're going to see that in the public eye more and more, even over the next 2 weeks.
Subscribers still feel confident, on par with where you're going with that?
I do, but I do believe that it's going to take more and more of these exchanges to really grow the numbers exponentially. We are not yet seeing the exponential growth that we're looking for. We're not worried about it. We know the interest is there, like everything else. It is coming, but I think that what we're going to see just with Bitget alone is phenomenal. And as you see more and more of these relationships coming, you know, if we can get 1% of the 1.6 million users that Bitget has, we're doing well. But if we can get 1%, why can't we get 10%? They have the same feeling. As we go with more and more exchanges like that in different parts of the world, the numbers just start to feed off themselves. Okay. And where the real value is starting to come in, and investors are realizing this, our subscribers are realizing this, and I'm not trying to be promotional, but the basic system is good. You get the signals for Bitcoin, Ethereum. But if you really want to dig in and make some serious money, as we are doing right now, and you can access this advanced program that we have, the tools are all there and you can make it. And by the way, a quick commercial, we are going to be telling all of our users next Wednesday, we're doing the first of what is supposed to be every couple of weeks, a webinar for the subscribers, explaining to them how we're working, and we're making this double-digit monthly return with no leverage, by the way, zero leverage. And we're making these kinds of returns because we're using the tools inside the toolkit of CryptoHawk to make sure that we do it right. And we want to make sure the rest of our subscribers understand how to do that. So we will be having a webinar for them. And if you've been thinking about becoming a subscriber, you can even get on and become a trial subscriber, and you can access this webinar. So it's going to be great stuff. And we're going to start helping all of our investors make a lot of money, I think.
Where can you find access to the webinar?
It's going to be announced on a headline on our websites, hopefully by Monday morning, if not. But really what we're doing is, you know, we already have a forum inside for the subscribers. Yep. And the subscribers will be getting emails and firsthand information on the forum, how to access it. You will need to register in advance. And if you just simply sign up, you know, for your 7-day free trial, you will get that information coming at you before Wednesday. Even if you sign up Wednesday at noon, it's going to be Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, and anybody can listen in and figure out how this is all working.
Good stuff. Appreciate the update. Chris Carl, CEO of Digimax Global, trades on the Canadian Securities Exchange under the ticker symbol DIGI. Appreciate your time.
Thanks always, Shad. It's great to talk.
Yeah, thanks, Chris.